What's the book about?
The book is about me. It's about me growing up in Puerto Rico. Obviously, a lot of the Yankee years, the minor leagues, junior college, and the big leagues. But most of it is things that happened me growing up, and pretty nice cover about me and my dad, my relationship with my dad. You know, him being there all the time. My Uncle Leo was in there being all the time, and being a part of, being a big league ball player.
Now, your dad was a scout.
Yeah, is a scout.
And he is a scout still. Very, just from meeting him, very serious man.
Yeah, very, very.
Did you have to become a baseball player? I mean, was there pressure on you?
I loved it so much, Michael, that he obviously was a big influence in me into baseball. He didn't let me play volleyball. He didn't let me play basketball. He didn't let me do tennis, racquetball, any of that stuff. He didn't let me do. We were in a club when I was growing up, and there was all this stuff, and I hear his whistle, like, shh, and I was playing volleyball or basketball. I had to put the ball down, and all I could do is play baseball. And so we made up some baseball games on with tennis balls or with cork or something like that, because he wanted me to focus on one sport.
Did it ever feel like a chore to you that you couldn't play other sports?
You know what? At that time, it was fun. I could play a little bit of basketball one-on-one and stuff, but when it comes to playing organized basketball, there was a no-no. Basketball in high school, there was a no-no. Volleyball in high school, there was a no-no. He let me run. He let me do bike. And he let me play baseball.
So there was no resentment that it was so stringent towards baseball?
No. I liked the game so much when I was growing up, and I wanted it so bad. I mean, I drove my mom crazy throwing the ball against the wall. And there's stories about that growing up, and the things he made me do to make me stronger, the discipline that he made me do, the hard work that I saw in him that made me work really hard.
So what was it like then, Jorge, when you were able to share the moment with him where you get called up to the big leagues, knowing that he had helped so much to fuel that dream?
Yeah, I tell the story in the book. Sitting down in '95 in the dugout, you get emotional because you put on your uniform on and you're sitting there. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Nobody's there. They're fixing the field. And you're there, and you're like, you go back. And you remember everything that you did to get there, and you get emotional. And I called my dad. I said, I'm in the dugout. I called him. We didn't have cell phones, but I went inside. I said, I was in the dugout at Yankee Stadium. And he's like, well, it's not easy to get there, but it's even tougher to stay up there. So not even that moment that I was in the big leagues, he let me have it. He was, okay, you got to keep working, in other words.
Now, you actually started in the Yankee system as a second baseman.
Yeah.
Why did you change to catcher?
They changed me.
How come?
Well, they saw me catch in a summer, before I signed, in a summer team in Alabama. And I don't think I would have made it into the big leagues if I was a shortstop, second base, third base. I think I would have been bouncing around. I would have, make it, but I don't think I would have been an established frontline player.
17-year guy.
17-year guy. Yeah, and I think Mark Newman helped me. My dad told me, he said, you're going to end up behind the plate. And I didn't think of it till Mark Newman told me, Dad, we see you as a catcher. You're going to develop as probably one of the best catchers in the organization, and we want you to be a frontline player. You got the bat, you got the glove, you got the arm, and I think you're going to get stronger and bigger. And he was right.
And people don't remember. Well, maybe some do. But in the 1995 playoffs, you pinch ran. Now, you weren't fast at the end.
I was
at the beginning,
quick.
You were okay.
I was a little quicker. I think, catching all this time, my injury in '94 on my ankle kind of slowed me down a little bit.
Blocking the plate, right?
He was blocking the plate, yeah. And, in '93, in single A, I stole 17 bags, even catching every day. So I was pretty quick. I'm not talking about Gardner, but, I was average. I would say 6'8", to 7 flat in a 60-yard run.
Now, if you had played second base or any other position, you played till you were 39, so certainly you played as long as you could, but do you wonder how many more hits, how many more home runs, how many more games you might have played if it was another position?
I have no idea. It's a tough question to answer. I don't think I would have been a big leaguer if I was a second baseman.
Okay.
I think I would have being one of those guys that will be bouncing around and find a position. But in the big leagues, is so important to, you can hit, but it's so important to, to do both parts of the game that I don't think a second baseman would have done it.
Now, Derek Jeter was the best man at your wedding.
Yes, sir.
And you're really close with him. It's almost like a brother.
Yeah.
He doesn't let that many people in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? What was it with you two that drew you together?
We really hit it off. We met in 94. We met in 92, but we really didn't hit off till 95. That summer, spring, summer, whatever. We were together every day. Especially when we got called up in September. We were sitting down on the bench, and we were doing everything that we were doing, just sitting down on the bench and looking at games, and we really hit it off. He came down to Puerto Rico. He was living in Tampa. I went down to Tampa, stayed a couple of days. So we bonded really, because he liked the same things that I liked. Day off, we'll go to the movies or, go out to eat, and that's about it. And, it's just like we have the same qualities. His parents, my parents, he's just like very involved, and I think the qualities he has, I enjoyed and I liked, and a true winner.
Now, people don't know this, Don, but the only guy he's as close to as he is with Jorge is me. But we kept it on the down low.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because he's shy about that stuff, so I don't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, it's a big story about you in the book.
I'm wondering, Jorge, you have that relationship with Derek, and whenever we thought about the leadership of your guys' teams through all those years, of course, Derek was the captain, but I know you're maybe a more vocal guy. How often would you and Derek talk about how to handle situations? And all right, this time, Jorge, you're going to come in and handle this. This time, we're going to leave it to Derek.
We didn't.
Never?
No.
But
Never. If there was something to say about, or to say to somebody, he would talk to him. But there was more about in the moment stuff during the game. You just go out and talk to the person. It wasn't okay. You go take this one, or no, you go take this one. No, it was. Whatever happened, if he had to say something in a meeting, he would say it. But if I had to say something, I would say it. It wasn't like we took turns to say it to somebody.
Who was the fire and brimstone guy? If you had a tough time, who was the guy in that room that would scream at the players and give that Newt Rockney speech? Was it you?
Probably him.
Yeah, I would say it was me. It's probably the tough vocal or the angry person was me. The leader, that there's certain way to do things, and we want it, all of us. Talking about from Bernie Williams to Paul O'Neill and stuff. And I saw it with Paulie, and I saw it with Wade Boggs. I saw it even with Tim Raines. There's a certain way of how you carry yourself, especially when you put that uniform on. Mm-hmm. And if you weren't on that line and going towards where we wanted to go, there had to be something said. And it's either me or somebody else.